Well, hello there. I'm Vaya, and welcome to Don't Eat the Cashier. I am going back to my old niche of visual novels for a second here because this looked really interesting to me. She, her, yeah. Yeah, I know. Two. Okay. My name is Vaya. Sometimes I really wonder, how did I end up here? Not that I dreamed of a career as a neurosurgeon or an astronaut, but for crying out loud, working at a gas station? On the other hand, money is money. I send out resumes to every conceivable and inconceivable place, applying for every position where I could somehow use my degree in art. Zero responses. I had to swallow my pride and find at least something. Human organism wanted for work at gas station. Organism's duties include selling food for mouth silence and obedience, household tasks, obeying those who are more ancient, friendly team offers, new and old faces of friends, long and difficult life, consumption of nourishment, juicy juices, trips to human places. I found this note stuck to the glass of the bus stop. Food for mouth. Seriously? The guy's got a style of his own. Apparently the manager is just an eccentric dude. Or is this their new marketing tactic to grab attention? Whatever. People often told me that I have my quirks too. And that's even if they haven't seen my fursuit. Whoa, I play as a furry! Hell yeah! Well, whatever. As long as he's not a complete jerk who'll hit me or make me scrub the floor with a toothbrush. Goodness me, that's... Whoa! It's cool. I didn't scream. I couldn't move. My brain feverishly tried to find any category for this in its database. Hallucination? Psychosis? Too many energy drinks? A typical middle manager? The monster from my nightmare stirred. Its tentacles crept closer to the counter. My god. The creature made a sound. Not from a mouth. It had none. The sound emanated from deep within its bulk. Hollow, profound, bone-shaking. Greetings, organism. I am B.O.B., the indescribable and terrifying consumer of worlds. But you, grain of sand, may call me Manager Bob. No. This is not real. I'm dreaming. I need to wake up. Like, now. ASAP Rocky. You will sell food for mouths and obey me, for I am ancient. Memorize the rules of this establishment, for my patience is as limited as the salary I offer you. Rule number 1, you sell, no matter what, chicken food for the mouth, gremlin fuel noodles made from cursed souls, lottery tickets for extra limb raffles, discount rod, ritual foil, everything must be sold. He points directly at me with that creepy, slimy tentacle. Every miserable unit of currency brings me closer to my triumphant exit from this pitiful hole. I pinched myself, but I didn't wake up. Rule number 2, be polite to customers, ignore bald spots in werewolf fur, and watch out for drafts when the ectoplasmic energetic entities are in the store. What? But don't let them get too bold. Customers are just walking containers for currency, and they should only pay in monetary units. Payment in existential dread or hair of the dead is not accepted. Many of them come here just to chat because they are idle and purposeless organisms. Your task is to make them part with their currency anyway. It is also your duty to heal organisms if they are injured using special kits. If they die, they can give away currency. Excuse me, sir. Dear sir, you seem to have mentioned werewolves and ectoplasm. My voice is as polite as possible. I managed to compress my primal screaming panic into a tight ball and shove it deep down. Werewolves, and that's not to mention that you yourself are a giant meatball with tentacles. Damn you. I shall answer your question, curious polite organism. Werewolves ectoplasmic entities are just a few examples of many insignificant life forms that frequent this establishment. What unites them is that they are all slaves to consumption, just like your kind. As for my nature, I am your immediate supervisor and the guarantor of your future financial prosperity. I'm at a gas station for monsters. I got a job with Cthulhu for minimum wage. That's not Cthulhu, though. This is all you need to know. That is really all I need to know. I fear any more knowledge will surely drive me insane. For the first time, something resembling approval flickered across Bob's many-eyed face. A rare and unexpected display of the grains of wisdom that have not yet left the human species. Embrace your ignorance, let it become your shield and direct path to the status of Human Employee of the Month. And what does the Human Employee of the Month get? A cash bonus of 25 cents. Wow. Okay. I understand that you, human, are already extremely excited about this, but that's not all. Well, I am. I'm not sure the character is. You will also have to access the elite manager's restroom for one full work cycle. During its use, there is only 7% chance that you will be transported to a dimension of endless pain, suffering, and unimaginable torment. Truly generous. He suddenly places a jar in front of me on the counter. And the last rule, remember, organism, this tip container must be filled with money by the end of your wake cycle. The bottom of the jar is visible. You will clean the sanitary rooms with this object in the dimension of absolute horrors and suffering for 2,510 years. I couldn't take my eyes off the fork, a potential tool for my eternal servitude. At this moment, my mind fully capitulated. Yes, I was hired by a multi-eyed cosmic architect squid. Yes, my clients will be non-humans. Yes, I'm being threatened with a fork for an eternal toilet cleaning. How could anyone clean anything with a fork? Same will happen if you even think of escaping before the end of your work contract. My ocular sensorium perceives the subject of matters. It will detect you in any corner of this pitiful planetary sphere. Crap, I'm stuck here. I'm in a trap. Do you understand, organism? 2,510? Why not 2,511? Organism! You dare to use sarcasm! You greatly overestimate your significance, single-brained creature. I warn you, one more joke like this, and the duration of your possible punishment will increase by another millennium, and one prong will disappear from the fork. He gurgles indignantly for a while longer before finally concluding the briefing. Goodbye, organism. Good luck in your currency acquisition and button pressing. Yeah, I think I can handle this. Adequate. Your willingness to fulfill your work duties deserves my emotional approval. Human entity, you are acceptable. If you expect a monetary reward instead of an emotional one, you need to immediately reconsider your moral compass. Greed is a highly condemned trait for human organisms. This concludes the briefing. Remain as polite an organism as you are. And no more inappropriate jokes. I did not pull out a single wiener joke. Thank you very much. Not yet, anyway. He didn't turn around as a human would. His tentacles simply shifted his entire mass in another direction with a soft gurgling sound, and he waddled across the linoleum. Finally, he left me alone. The silence at the gas station was broken only by the hum of the refrigerators containing juicy juices and the buzzing of neon lamp above my head. I stood in the same spot as if rooted to the ground. My breath returned to me in a sharp, uneven gasp. My hands were shaking. The tip jar, which I needed to fill to avoid ending up in a dimension of ancient horrors, still stood proudly on the counter. Okay, so what just happened? Option 1. I've gone insane. That's the most logical conclusion. Prolonged stress from job hunting, malnutrition, nerves, anxiety, disrupted sleep schedule. My brain just malfunctioned. Yes, that's it. I'm going to wake up on the couch in my dingy rented apartment. I pinch myself again, and nothing. I scanned the room once more. It smelled of gasoline and old coffee. It was still absurdly real. And that meant everything he said was all true. Werewolves, vampires, tips, the fork. A hysterical mix of laughter and scream of terror welled up in my throat, but I held it back. I needed to get through this. I needed to... Oh, don't tell me that's the first customer. Bells? What the hell? Hi! Shit! Where the hell did this clown come from? It took great effort not to look away from those red eyes burning in the pitch black darkness. Is he amused? Is he wondering if I'm tasty? Bob didn't exactly give any guarantees that I wouldn't get devoured at work. My brain, still recovering from the encounter with Bob, was frantically trying to figure out how to break this ringing silence. Good evening, sir. What would you like to purchase? Purchase? I would like to purchase your attention. I suppose it's free. Make a wink, but only for you, sir. Oh, goodness. For me? Only for me? Oh, you spoil me. To receive such an exclusive treasure, released in a limited edition. I feel like a king. Although, am I not already a king? No matter. I've never felt more regal than I do now. Well, I accept this generous offer, but the deal requires balance, doesn't it? In exchange for your attention, you shall receive mine. Hooray! My god, another crazy person with a strange way of speaking. And it seems he's in the mood for a chat. So, what is a beautiful, charming lady like you doing in such a dreadful, dirty island of misfortune? Or rather, what is a place like this doing with such a charming lady as you? Oh wait, where are my manners? I suppose I must introduce myself. I have only names, most of which are not fit to be spoken in the company of a lovely lady. The nicest I've heard is the Mad King. A title I plan to pass from me to myself for the coming centuries. However, my mortal mother named me Teiran. Now, may I have your hand? You know what? Offer, you know. He suddenly bows his head and presses his lips to my knuckles. Meeting you is truly a pleasure. His lips are cold, yet a ghostly warmth spreads across my skin. But here I am, dealing with a real gentleman. How lovely. Or a king, as he calls himself. Of all the kings and emperors locked in their soft chambers, this one has probably found a way to escape. May I know your name? I don't immediately realize he's asking me a question, still in days from that gentlemanly kiss. My name is Vaya, sir. My dear Vaya, you're so polite. He seems to savor my name. It sends shivers down my spine. And that politeness, again, as dry and bland as the rations I give my soldiers, the most creaky of all the decrees I've signed. And I've signed decrees that required people to reap ropes from sand, just for fun, mostly mine. Polite people never risk anything, no friends, no enemies. How is that interesting? Imagine how wonderful it would be if we became enemies. Those would be the most interesting few seconds of your life. Or friends. Then it would be a delightful eternity. Or lovers, wink. He blinks once, twice. What a delightful little twist in our script. Did I just fluster him? My sunshine, you burn me. Such bravery to flirt with someone who can turn your bones into licorice with a snap of his fingers. That's the fun of it, I think. He's so flustered that he's shifted it to a more informal tone. Well, well. I feel like my brain is turning into jelly. Actually, it's not all that bad. Maybe I just been spoiled by all those mangas about sinister and tragic monsters. Hey, don't call me out like that. Though the only tragic thing about this client so far is his tragic unwillingness to buy my discount rot. So let's finally get to the purpose of my visit. Finally. It's completely unknown to me. We're crying out loud. There's nothing interesting in the assortment of this pathetic shack, except for you, so I'm buying your time. Let's have dinner. I'm sure you must be hungry. Oh no. Allow me to create a more pleasant atmosphere for us. Is that a pleasant atmosphere? I'm shivering from a gust of icy wind. He just teleported half of my gas station to a radioactive dump. Or a radioactive dump to my gas station. And the jar is gone. My freaking jar! Put it back! The jar! The jar! You don't really like change, do you? But life is ever-changing. Life is not a stone, my dear. Life is like water. But since you don't like this current, so be it. Let us find something less, populated with mutants. Can't go long without familiar landscapes. Already ruined lands make me melancholic because all the fun happened without me. Disgusting. Allow me... This is cute. Well, this is something seemingly less radioactive. Amazingly, I haven't thrown up yet. It feels like I've been flushed twice. Although, interdimensional toilet. I clear my throat. Seems like I'm sitting at a table. Much better, wouldn't you agree? Couldn't be better. This is not my store. Pop will kill me. Don't worry, my dear. Time flows differently here. In your cage of capitalism, it's practically at a standstill. No one will disturb us. Especially not your evil, beady-eyed squid. Such a wild creature, squid. Oh, hang on, my cat is hacking. I gotta help him. Okay, that was only the second hairball of the year, so I am blessed and lucky. No one will disturb us, especially not your evil, beady-eyed squid. Such wild creatures. Squids. I really should turn someone into a squid. Or 3 squids. How thrilling. I'm slowly getting used to landscape. The fireflies here are quite charming. But it had better be better without that frog with a human face. Oh, that's a frog. Okay. The frog notices me too. It lets out a sad croak and then looks at me with an expression of deep existential despair. Why was that word so hard? Wow. Why did a frog with a human face? Who is that? That's Lorray, one of the brave souls who dared to challenge my authority. My dear friend, who once walked the path of an adventure. However, he didn't foresee the possibility of being turned into a frog on a whim. He even tried to wield a sword with his tiny froggy legs. Fought to the end. A true warrior. Now, however, his foes are mosquitoes and bigger frogs. Tell me, dear, does he bother you? His little existential froggy crisis, I mean. Is it ruining the ambiance? He looks at me with an interested expression. Hold on, I don't want to make this... What exactly did Lorray do? What did this walking sack of manure do? Was I trying to kill me? Oh, plenty. He swung a sword blazing with righteous fury or some such nonsense. He dared to come to my home, a world born of my shattered mind. and dictate what the natural order should be. Such an audacious, wild creature. He made such repulsive noises, clanking, grumbling, shouting, praying, threatening, moralizing. The last part was the hardest to endure. But as it turns out, holiness doesn't prevent purgification, or cherification. I've found various uses for Lorraine over the years of our friendship. Oh, the fall of the great Lorraine, the funniest Tuesday of this century. A Tuesday filled with pomp, irony, and croaking. What is pomp? Alright, I guess I'd also turn someone who tried to kill me into a frog. Huh, exactly, my dear. You see and understand. It's simple cause and effect. Action and reaction. He who comes to me with a sword shall leave as a frog. That's how it went, right? Oh, you truly are a kindred spirit, Vaya. I knew there was a delightful darkness behind those beautiful eyes. He looks at me with an interested expression. I want him to watch. Watch life pass by him. See us enjoy dinner of more than just mosquitoes and swamp water. My dear, you are a treasure trove of delightfully dark little surprises. So, dinner. I'm sure you must be starving. Traveling between realities must be exhausting. This looks strange, but it smells delicious. Meat with honey? And next to the meat, a purple soup, possibly made from a less fortunate cashier. Whether the food is poisoned or not, if I refuse, His Highness might turn me into a frog too, so I pick up a fork from the table. And this is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. It's 100 times better than these cheap instant noodles I usually buy in supermarkets. Even the fact that I'm currently in some other universe surprisingly doesn't seem to harm my appetite. It seems you enjoy our cuisine. My chefs have always managed to cook well, on those occasions when I've noticed it. I assure you, you won't regret this dinner. At least, not for the first half hour after the meal. Why are you doing all this? The dinner, the teleports, all that. Why? What a delightfully pointless question. Even by my standards. Hey, I just want to know. I do because I can. I do it because the alternative is crushing, gray, predictable boredom. Boredom. I brought you here, Vaya, because for the first time in a very, very long time, you are not boring. Oh, thank you. Because you fear me less than my subjects do, and you can hold a meaningful, albeit questionable conversation, unlike my subjects. Believe me, when your interlocutors, I don't know what that word is, mine is as sturdy as a wet paper, all the joy of conversation quickly evaporates. Stay silent. I'm not meaningfully chewing on the mysteriously sourced meat. Best not to delve into this. Poke at the food with my fork and watch the peculiar scenery from the corner of my eye. Silence hangs between us. Might even be called cozy. Were I under heavy narcotics. What's your favorite animal? Glad you asked. It's right in here on our plane. Just kidding. But I do need some time to think. Let's see. The riding flea has its own charms. Very disgusting ones. Carnivorous butterflies are beautiful, but they're dumb and noisy. And as we know, only what's empty inside makes a noise. Or what's in my head. It's always ringing. I think it's a dog. It loves its owner with all its heart. Whether they're a saint or a serial killer, it doesn't notice the difference. It lives in a constant joyful state of blissful ignorance and misplaced enthusiasm. A creature that finds endless joy in utterly meaningless. It's truly inspiring. Dogs are the jesters of the animal world, and I adore them for it. Especially the small, wrinkly ones. He likes pugs. What about you? Cat. them, we're probably the jesters. Oh, indeed. They are the true rulers of this reality, tiny, furry gods of apathy and disdain. And we are their obedient, foolish caretakers. But I've been lucky enough to escape their tyranny and instead enjoy my own, and feed those around me. I return to my meal, and just as I chew another bite, I hear His Highness's voice. By the way, how does the meat taste? Is the human flesh tender enough? My fork freezes halfway. Oh, I wanted to. Not as tasty as the other one I had the day before yesterday. Chew like while looking at him in the eye. You're the law there. I meet his gaze, slowly and with all authority, place a piece of meat in my mouth and begin to chew without breaking eye contact. I can't remember ever seeing someone so shocked in my life. His magic ring vanishes, his eyes widen, and his own fork freezes halfway to his mouth. For one precious, glorious, sweet moment, the Lord of Chaos is completely and utterly baffled. My dear, you are a true treasure. He didn't just call my bluff, he raised the stakes to the sky. No, it's certainly not human. It's just venison, and as far as I can tell by taste, not very intelligent. It's definitely not Timmy, our carpenter, who unexpectedly disappeared near the lake kitchen cauldron, perfectly sized to fit in it. Definitely not. I've personally issued several decrees related to cannibalism, perhaps even concerning its prohibition, but that's beside the point. I rarely have visitors. I'd like to tell you about the other interesting guests. After all, it's the most fascinating thing I can share with you. For a place where mushrooms with eyes grow, it can be incredibly dull here. Shadows in the clearing thicken and stir. They detach from the gnarled trees, rising up from the ground like black ink, and spread across the wall. Dancing and intertwining, they prepare to perform at their master's whim. Behold this incredibly crooked castle, my dear. Crooked to the point of absurdity. Sadly, in reality, its curves look far more aesthetic, but give the creator some leeway for expressiveness. Many brave and not so bright souls have tried to conquer this terrifying, dark, eerie, crooked castle, so many that it became even more crooked. You see, the dreadful monster living there never liked being distracted from its important duties. Terribly important duties, like having long, deep conversation with its own reflection, or concocting recipes with raisins. The monster was a tyrant, a menace. He sowed chaos and disorder, mostly on purpose. He had countless opportunities for creativity and wasn't afraid to use them. He made some people believe they were pigeons and others that they were brains. He wouldn't allow his best servants to have windows, fearing that the moon and both suns would get envious and want to take them away, and he demanded they seal the gaps in the doors well. He locked wizards who came to him with magical gifts in a giant laboratory, and promised them power if they invented a kettle that could boil everything except water. Did they eventually invent the kettle? Invented? Oh, they did much more. After 11 years of failed prototypes, a few explosions, and chemicals running away on their own legs, they succeeded. The kettle could boil even bright memories, but not water. Water could would instantly freeze, explode, and file for divorce. I immediately rewarded them with a new invention idea. A cup with a sealed top and without a bottom. Let's see how they handle that. But I digress. But behold, a ray of light in the dark kingdom. The first hero, Sir Larray, the righteous, in all his clanging, self-important glory. He took a knee to rest briefly because the weight of his righteousness was for the health of his poor back. Following rumors rumors spread by the same monster, he fought his way through the monster's loyal subjects too. By the way, where did he even find them? Most of my subjects were too busy contemplating the color of suspenders for their suspenders or lamenting their fate. I cherish them in their imperfection. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were probably the most restless of them. Even story needs minions. In any case, our hero descended into the Grotto of Despair. The Grotto of Tentacles? Imagine the most sinister name you could conjure. The Grotto of my parents' disappointment in me. Oh, but if they could see you now? You're at a royal audience. They would be proud of you. No, actually, they wouldn't be proud of you if they got to know me better. But in that case, it's good too. You won't be alone under the weight of their disappointment. But let's not get this sidetracked. Into the grotto of your parents' disappointment in you, our hero descended to retrieve an artifact capable of defeating the Monster King. The ring of incredible power. A bit shoddily crafted, but I assure you, it looks more aesthetic in real life. However, the brave knight didn't know that the incredible power of the ring lay in its 400 pounds weight. That was its only magical property. The only incredible thing about this ring was its incredible stupidity and uselessness. The realization that he had spent weeks of his life on a divinely heavy paperweight, and the sudden, crushing thought that he should have become a baker instead of a hero, just to get some sleep. Well, it broke his poor, noble mind. Not that his mind was ever intended for serious burdens. Not meaningfully. So, the knight perished. But then, along came Elmer Eagle's Eye. They say he earned his nickname by escaping from an enemy fortress. On the third day of his captivity, he noticed that his prison cell was lacking the fourth wall. An archer of legendary skill who tried to kill me with a precise shot constantly, during breakfast, while bathing, at balls, during sleep, and even while I was devising a plan to get rid of him. The audacity. I hate just killing them. Turning them into madmen is much more fun. And I bestowed a little curse upon the elf as well. I made it so that every time he drew his bowstring, it heard the most annoying melody to his ears. Elmer was a terrible racist. He hated dwarves, so naturally the melody became the national anthem of the dwarves. Played in loop by a bagpipe orchestra, the pure rage it provoked derailed his aim every time. Eventually, he stormed the castle, dropped his bow, and begged for a job at my court in exchange for changing the song to anything else. He was desperate, and I was a villain. Everything aligned incredibly well. Now he is my royal huntsman. The dwarf march is replaced with a lively elven sea shanty, and let no one dare accuse me of being a callous and heartless. Now he has a salary, good food, clothing, entertainment, and a full guarantee of non-dismemberment. Happy ending, right? For me, absolutely. I've never had such a good hunter in my life. I never quite figured out where he gets all those species of animals, but no matter. And finally, the witch, in a plastic giant hat, under which you could easily fit another witch. She tried a different approach, seduction. She attempted to charm me, to gain my trust, to become my spouse. Fatal miscalculation. She didn't consider the fact that I never trusted big cats, or people, especially when both come in my hand. Hand in hand. Oh my god, not come in my hand. Oh my god. And those who wear suspenders and a belt at the same time. A person who doesn't even trust their own hands, or pants, certainly doesn't earn the trust of His Highness. Then again, I don't trust His Highness either. I don't trust myself, especially the left side of my brain. Especially on Thursdays. But back to hats. I hate big hats. I don't evoke any particular feelings in me. No love, no hate. Not even mild annoyance. Really? I suggest you quickly develop a strong opinion about them. They say it's a highly entertaining hobby, and useless, but like any good hobby. Meanwhile, the witch was quite overt in her murderous intentions, jingling with all her concealed weapons. Why does a witch need so many hidden blades? She must have been a very bad witcher. In any case, she now resides in my dungeon. And you see, I haven't decided what to do with her yet. Her fate is a blank slate, a story yet to be written. So I offer you the pen. Ooh, that's fun! I simply adore random choices. Give me yours, Vaya. What punishment benefits her? What? Does he really want me to decide what to do with the real person? Can even save her? Do I want to? No. And does it matter what I choose? Everything here follows his whims anyway. And as long as I play the circus monkey, I have a chance to get out of here alive. Maybe I should just entertain him? Then what should I do? Put into a hat, a small one. The one who lived by a big hat shall become a small hat. Oh, the irony is so absurd, it's beautiful. So be it. Let her be a small cap of eternal regret. He tried to get into my head, and now she can barely cover it. A brilliant sentence. Something's missing about this tale. This tale. You never told me about the monster itself. Dear, who cares about these monsters anyway? If I do. If monsters are the muck, then I'm the pig, you see? Oh, eloquent. Alright. I must admit, this would be my first performance like this. Dairon sounds a bit bewildered, it seems. Allow me to just toss my mind up and see how it lands. You see, the monster was originally much more modest and less majestic. But we all have to start somewhere, right? Then, my head suddenly became a bit crowded. First whispers, then arguments, then full-fledged discussions that had to be participated in and involved an inanimate object. Guests in ajar doors, closets, even in cookie jars. Every container and potential foe. I was surrounded by containers. To be fair, sometimes they just told funny stories. But why was I afflicted with this curse? Pondering it drives me mad, even more so. It seems the question is meant for me. Did you touch a cursed artifact? Maybe a summering of yours? Dear, I'm afraid you've confused cause and effect. It's I who drive rings mad, not the other way around. Any poor, innocent artifact I happen to touch might start screaming uncontrollably or trying to ask those around it about the meaning of their lives. No, I'm afraid it's a bit more banal. It's all about rotten blood, too pure, I beg your pardon. My great-grandfather issued a decree forbidding death from old age. The distant aunt believed a colony of sentient mold was living in her walls, claiming her inheritance. But I always thought I would be spared from this fate. I had to be temporarily isolated to avoid embarrassing guests at royal balls with the young prince pointing at noble lords and saying, "Haha, the gnomes finally got out from under my bed." What a misfortune for the entire family, except for those in line for the throne before me. My death would have solved so many problems for my family, and indeed, many of my own problems too. I made a decision. We made it. To be precise, there was already a whole council of us by then. However, chaos had other plans. A god, a goddess, a cosmic clerical error. I don't know. Something ancient and terribly bored found itself a new source of entertainment. It offered me a throne, my own corner of reality to rule, where the fragments of my mind would become the laws of the land. No more restrictions, or pants for my subject, if I wished. My subjects, at first, they disagreed, but then they came to terms, or their minds change to fit the new reality. And here I am. A dramatic silence ensues. Perhaps I am the first being to hear this story in the centuries of his existence. I must choose my next words carefully. Will you give me a tip? Dairon laughs. Of course, and it won't even be someone in the innards. It will be lots of crisp paper dollars. Ah, I love the sound of things crunching. But again, no innards. Shadows finally dissolved into nothingness. I just turned a living being into a hat, or rather, became the catalyst for it. I wonder what kind of nightmares are warranted in such a case. I'm afraid royal duties await me. My time is up. I shall send you back, Vaya. I rise from the chair. I squeeze my eyes shut. The light is blinding even with my eyes closed. So unusual after all this darkness. The jar is full of money. It was all worth it. Greetings, organism. How is your work progressing? I see the first transaction was successful. Acceptable. This still doesn't save you from the threat of cleaning sanitary facilities, but it's a wonderful starting point for your entire tiny life. Work is going well, sir. Excellent. Maintain this level of productivity. You may be rewarded with an additional 5 minutes feeding break for if you can find food. Rejoice in my generosity. Continue working. I am experiencing a positive emotional reaction. I am proud of you, and I will be even prouder if you acquire even more currency. Goodbye, Mr. Manager. Your tentacles shine particularly beautifully at this time of day. Your comment regarding the shine of my appendages is noted, organism. The secret is a meticulous regime of polishing them with void bibok slime. Goodbye. He slaps across the floor to his office. As soon as Bob's rhythmic wood slaps fade away, a deep silence descends on the station. One moment, I'm in a surreal forest, dining on purple goo with a mad god. The next moment, I'm being praised by a multi-eyed tentacle monster. Maybe these are just my deathbed hallucinations. God, give me back my bills, my noodles, my arguments with strangers on the internet. My beautiful, monotonous, bland life. I was foolish not to appreciate it. In the midst of my contemplation, terrifying sounds emanate from my boss's office. Unfair bills, unacceptably large numbers. Of course. What else could upset him so much, if not that? Steps. Another visitor. This one decided to come in through the door for a change. He seems unwell. I hope he doesn't knock over my shelves of shampoo with jojoba oil and delicate lilies on his way. He's not just unwell. He looks like hell, literally. All the skin on the left side is torn off from his jaw to his temple. I swallow nervously. What kind of meat grinder has this guy been through? He looks like someone who could just rip me apart if he doesn't like what he hears. I need to be careful if I don't want to become the next victim. You look like the Terminator at the end of the second movie, buddy. The Terminator who just wrecked my entire floor, gave him a thumbs up. That thumb is going to end up in your ass. Given the threat in that tone, not just the thumb, I won't think any further in that direction. Words clearly come to him with great difficulty, which probably not surprising for a man with a half a face. He clears his throat, but that doesn't help much. I need blood. He tried to smile. It would be charming if he still had all the necessary muscles for that, but it will haunt me in my nightmares, among other things. The client pauses again, briefly, to clear his throat. Let me see what we have. Yeah, good choice, babe. Step to the storage. Just in case. He suddenly leans forward, boring into me with his remaining eye. Go and find me some goddamn blood. Go and find the damn blood. Yeah. A strange pressure builds in my head, and the edges of my vision blur. An unyielding command blossoms in the center of my mind. I don't know why, but I feel an incredibly strong urge to find blood right now. My client is covered in blood, but still hungry. Maybe he fought in something incredible, or is it his own? I found myself in a storeroom, a tangled labyrinth of shelves reaching up to the ceiling, stuffed with boxes, crates, and mysterious cans. In the corner, something rustled and snorted suspiciously. So, where could the blood be? I need to think fast. He's not going to wait forever. Right now, I'm at the very beginning of this crazy place. Yeah, goof, the food for mouth section. The signs are driving me insane. I really hope my manager will eventually learn English properly. I'm surrounded by pure madness and anxious packaging, and even in front of my department entrances, there's some baby food for cyborgs piled up. I'm frantically trying to decipher the crooked inscriptions. In front of me are sections with food for mouth. Infused nutritional flows. Here are endless shelves of drinks, next to Coca-Cola bottles labeled liquid regret and primordial broth. Cans labeled Brapsy, vodka, Sholneko. I'd love to meet the person who came up with these names. I check each shelf, pushing aside cans of essence of shifts and giggles, but find nothing resembling blood. The closest thing is liquid hematogen in a giant wooden container. It smells the worse than it looks. I go back. I hear knocking. It's the dry, rhythmic tapping of knuckles on laminated countertop. It's not loud, but persistent and full of irritation. In front of me are sections with food for mouth. Food afraid of heat. The coldest corner of the store. Large freezer chests and refrigerators with glass doors are covered in frost. Next to frozen meats are Gremlin cryo capsules, and among the buckets of ice cream you can find flavors like minty tritium and liquid family. Oh my god. A huge freezer chamber. Spare parts, matter of lesser life forms. Or like, I think, bingo, there's animal blood here. A delicious fat rat integrity. 80% running across the floor. Delicious. No! Well, I look at this unfortunate creature. It looks back at me with its tiny, pleading, bead-like eyes. And leave the rat alone. Let no living being suffer today. Well, except for me. Maybe it's about regeneration or something else, but he seems better because I hear impatient footsteps. Great, now he's fidgeting. He can't sit still anymore. Okay, huge freezer chamber. Spare parts of human organisms. This section reeks of formaldehyde and horror. Glass jars filled with murky liquids sit on shelves where exhibits float. I try not to think about the containers holding a name tag and that reads Kevin. Michael, taste efficient resource and artificial artifact. Michael. The blood on this jar has a rich, almost glowing ruby hue. It looks healthy and full of energy. Michael, whoever you were on top. Champion's blood flowed through you. You were probably something like an energy drink for the undead. And yet, here you are, in a jar. There's something to ponder. He abruptly lifts his head as I approach. You could have hurried up. He grumbles, but his tone reveals that he feels relief. The surge could have taken even longer. Now hand over to that damn blood. My client finishes the jar and then grimaces. Ugh, for crying out loud. What the hell is this crap? He reads the note on the jar. Michael. Well, you were a lucky guy, Michael. Too bad I can't kill him a second time. Tastes like a happy family, a successful career. a retirement account, and this jerk probably never even had cockroaches. At least now he's now liquid, Michael in a jar. He chuckles quietly. Yeah. There's something to that. Cool that you found human blood. Good job. You're sharp. That glad to please you, sir. I'm glad you are no longer wanting to eat me. Uh-huh. With that approach to business, you'll go far, babe. I'm going to wash my dirty face. Don't get bored. While he's not here, I have perfect opportunity to wipe away the blood stains. I'm just scrubbing a pool of blood on my first day at work. An interesting story on 4Reddit. A wonderful tale. I'm doing just fine. Nobody has eaten me. He's looking so much fresher with the second half of his face, although his expression still resembles that of a constipated owl. I'll just stand here for a while, okay? Take a little break. Besides, there's nobody here with you right now. And just so you know, if you try to contact the werewolves, I'll take your head and crush it like a walnut. I'm David, by the way. A vampire, as you may have already guessed. Oh, really? I never would have guessed that. What an incredibly interesting way to start an acquaintance. Especially that part about the walnut. Nice to meet you. Vaya. Okay, Vaya. I knew Vaya once. Did you? Wow, that's crazy. I knew Vaya once. She used to trade kidneys in Venice Beach. She was a good girl until she got packed up. He's trying to provoke me. Okay. He's trying to provoke me, deliberately sharing the dirty details of his life to see how uncomfortable I can get. I suppose I'm also selling some kidneys now? Check the catalog. Yes, exactly 10 categories. A catalog? Do you a catalog? Do you seriously have a catalog? He leans forward, genuinely intrigued, peering into the catalog. Gremlin kidneys? Is that a delicacy? Why does it say both delicacy and fuel and animal venom? I don't know. I really don't know anything. I'm scared. You're a pretty lousy seller, to be honest. On the other hand, now I'm even more intrigued. Put it in a bag. I nod approvingly. For such a customer, there's always the shoddiest bag available. Now I have a vampire here. Now he's regenerating. Wonderful. The main thing is to not accidentally blurt out something wormy. I need to be friendly. Need 20 vampires, wear leather jackets, blah blah blah. Thanks for not eating me, David. David lets out a quiet chuckle. The guy clearly expects people to be afraid of him. He might have looked lost when he first arrived here, but now, seeing my fear, he obviously feels right at home. It's not over yet. Although, you're too bony. And I'm sure you love to eat all that cheap crap like instant noodles, people like that. Their blood's just not tasty. Only if there's nothing more interesting than that blood. So you don't think glutamate and cholesterol? They're the tastiest thing in the world. They crunch on my teeth. Even cheap liquor is better. At least it warms you up and disinfects. It warms the body and soul. Vampires can be alcoholics. Another astonishing discovery from my shelf of amazing revelations. Fuck, I keep reading it in his voice. None of which I wanted to make. David slightly grimaces as he moves his hand. Damn mutts. Probably not all the wounds have healed completely. And does being a vampire doctor fall under my duties? I think Bob said it was mandatory. Pointed the wound. Let me help. He looks at me skeptically. The offer of help is probably so foreign and unexpected to him that it leaves him momentarily dumbfounded. You what? You want to play nurse? A flicker of confusion is replaced by something more intense. It's just a couple of scratches and a little piece of ass that will grow back on its own. I'm fine. If you don't love your... Yeah, blah, blah, blah. If you don't let yourself be treated, my boss will lock us both in a dimension of horror where we'll be cleaning toilets with a fork for 2,000 years. Really? And how am I supposed to clean with a fork? Thank you! And why such a ridiculous amount of time? Is there that much cosmic crap in there? His voice carries a clear mockery. He's about to say something even more sarcastic when suddenly Bob has returned to his account. The sounds he makes still fill my soul with dread. Probably not just mine. Finally, the forks and toilets break through the last layer of his defense. Alright, I've spent my whole life in complete crap. I don't want to spend the next 2 millennia there too. Damn you, go ahead. Thank you! Get out your band-aids, maybe the Dr. Chocula or whatever you're selling. He kind of looks like Eren Yeager. A little bit. David checks his jacket, shirt, and t-shirt, then settles onto a squeaky stool next to a counter. He's about to face serious trial, staying in a vulnerable position for a few minutes. For some reason, cruel fate hasn't made him claw-proof. He certainly looks like he was just thrown into a blender. Judging by those bullet scars, he has quite an interesting past. Or maybe he was attacked by werewolf cowboys with guns. Most likely the former. By the way, I didn't know that corpses have doctors too. I thought the only doctor available to me is the coroner. I'm rummaging through the necromancy kit that was sitting under the counter. It's a heavy military-style metal box with a faded label reading, Kit for Alternatively Living Organisms. Inside, besides standard bandages, there are some strange items. Silver tweezers, vials of thick, glowing liquid, additional fingers, and of course, an instruction manual. A cheap, laminated brochure stained with something that looks like coffee. In the instructions, the first point states, determine whether you are dealing with a zombie, ask your alternatively living subject if they ever wanted to eat someone's brain. Alternatively living subject, have you ever wanted to eat someone's brain? What? What subject? Fuck, I'm not, what? Not a subject. It seems I've offended his vampire feelings. Let's out an annoyed sigh for the umpteenth time today. Your brain, definitely not. Was that a joke about me being dumb? I am, by the way, very smart. And I have a very tasty brain. Not smart enough to understand that vampires don't eat brains. Do you remember Dracula eating brains? No? Did he rise from his coffin and say, "What a lovely evening, I'll go munch on some brains"? Stop looking at me like that. I'm not a damn zombie, I'm a vampire, and not even a chupacabra. Zombies are stupid. They can't even talk. They just grunt and groan. I don't get why that's not on your necrotherapist's guide. Alright, neither was our zombie. At least not yet. Let's return to the treatment. I would do a backflip out of joy right now if I didn't have a piece of claw sticking out of my ankle. I steal a glance at my visitor. I wonder if werewolves had just clawed him up, or if he managed to kill someone too. My instinct, something out of Stone Age, says that he could have. The guy has a killer's gaze. You see someone like him in an alley, your hand automatically reaches for your wallet and phone. I lower my eyes. Next point. Let's establish the nature of the injuries. What kind of wounds could werewolves leave? Simple lacerations, claws, teeth, a bit of saliva, possibly very contagious. David listens to this with pride of a true soldier. Every word feels like a medal for valor. Something like that. He said it as if he didn't care, but I know better. Wounds from a real rabbit beast, buddy. I'm dying of laughter. He chuckles happily, trying to hide a glimmer of pride behind humor, but I won't be fooled. David is no longer just a wounded sucker. He's a true gladiator, having survived a battle with rabbit beasts. Absolutely epic. I read through what medication I need to grab, regenerating extract for alternatively living life forms, Now all that's left to apply the stuff, dip my finger in the jar, and suddenly he grabs my hand. Do something wrong, and I'll rip your tonsils out of your ass. Through your ass. Allow me to do my job, sir. I will be extremely careful. The phrase of any faceless representative of the services sector, my perfect shield against the surrounding world and the rude vampires that inhabit it. Watch yourself. You won't get a second chance. No, not my vampire doctor's license. I apply this black goo to the wound. A puff of steam rises from the wound, and the air starts to smell like something is frying. It's probably very painful, but David remains calm. Not a single complaint, which is surprising. I hope that it's not from your squid manager. Well, we all hope for that, buddy. Pour a little more goo on him, restore some justice. My hand jerks accidentally, and the generous dollop of black goo splats right in the center of his massive wound. The hissing grows louder, and the smoke thickens. David grits his teeth. The tough guy is helpless. He can't tell the act of revenge from a medical procedure. The ointment punishes him for all his sins. I finish up. Surprisingly, the wounds really are healing. The scars won't beautify this man. Why are you doing all this? The question is asked in an astonishingly serious tone. He's driving me crazy, even more than that clown from earlier, it seems. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I just want to help. Your truth. You are an angel of mercy from the dirty gas station. Why? David is confused. In his system of beliefs, action always equals benefit. I'm throwing a wrench into his flawless, long-running mechanism. I can't watch someone suffer. Wow. God bless your noble heart. He shifts awkwardly. Clearly, he's uncomfortable and unaccustomed to being the object of compassion. So he immediately hides behind yet another sarcastic comment. But what can I do? I feel sorry for every little kitten on the street. Sometimes I even feel sorry for especially large, nasty, troublesome kittens. Like this one right here. It must be tough living with someone like that, huh? I bet you have 40 cats living in your apartment. And all of them are strays. David reads me like an open book. It's amazing that he can even read all that. Most of the time, help isn't altruistic. People always want something in return. Money, a favor, for you to take them off the hook. Helping people for no reason is like throwing shit against the wind. Alright, moving on. Screw this. Honestly don't care what's going in your head. This is the most unconvincing lie I ever heard in my life. He clears his throat. Thank you. What? Am I hearing things? I thought he didn't know such words. I'm even afraid to breathe, so I don't scare off his rare exotic display of politeness. He says that word as if he's pronouncing it for the first time in his life. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the case. Just a couple more seconds and he's back in front of the counter. So the client is fed, clean, and healed. And yet he's still here, not putting any money on the counter. And the tip jar is locking. I look at him. He's supposed to be full of energy, but instead he looks lost. David is deep in thought, in that dark, gloomy little place that occupies his mind. Are you planning to pitch a tent here? David snorts, hearing the impatience in my voice. What, already tired of my company, doll? I leave when I want to leave, and I don't want to yet. I'm curious about one thing. I haven't talked to a regular human in a long time. I wonder if a regular human, does he mean extremely natural essence, or I'm no vampire, werewolf, or sleeping gnome? Or does he mean my lack of criminal record and absence of drug or alcohol dependency? Or maybe he's looking for the perspective of an ordinary worker, a working class person, a gray collar. Does your face always look that funny when you're thinking about something? I don't even get a chance to respond to his jab before he follows up. Let's conduct an experiment. Suppose you're now a free vampire, able to go wherever you want, do whatever you want. Where would you go? David looks at me expectantly. A lot of things depend on who exactly turned me into a vampire. Who vamped you? He doesn't answer right away, just furrows his brows. Several long minutes pass in silence. Some old stinking jerk. A lot is mixed up into those 4 words, as if they both hate and mourn the old jerk. Probably, that guy wasn't a contender for Father of the Year. I wait for him to continue, but he remained silent. He looks like an angry cornered dog. It's unlikely he'll speak up on his own. And what did your old thinking jerk do? Don't call him that. Damn it. Don't you dare. The rage in his eyes shifts into confusion, just for a brief moment before he looks away. I mean, yeah, call him whatever you want, including an old thinking jerk. So, what did he do? That jerk suffered from power seizures. That's all there is to say about him. No amount of booze could erase what that damn villain did in my memory. I suppose all old vampires are like that. Since he won't tell me what more of his vampire dad. David looks at me expectantly. What weaknesses will I have? Well, no more tanning, no reflection in mirrors. If you were ugly before, it's actually a bonus, right? You can enter without an invitation. Garlic doesn't scare you either. Holy water is trickier, it depends on the situation. A stake works, but piercing your chest would be quite a challenge. Piercing any part of it is quite a challenge, actually. Our skin is like steel, unless a particular persistent werewolf comes along. Well, at least you can enter without an invitation. No need for unnecessary chit-chat from people. David looks at me expectantly. And who were you before the fight? He opens his mouth, ready to tell me off or mention something about butts again, but stops himself. Probably his thank you sealed our fragile friendship. I'll tell you, but it's probably not relevant. Well, it's nothing. I was a nobody. I was just surviving as everything went to hell. Unlike all those bastards born with a silver spoon up their ass. You ever see those happy American families in TV commercials? They sit at the table with a bowl of salad, smiling like idiots. And they always have a dog. Well, that wasn't my case. My stepdad was a crazy guy who thought the best birthday gift was a smack on the head. He did teach me how to shoot properly, though. I left my family dumb early. It's really dumb. But I thought I'd start a band and become a rock star. But as they say, wish in one hand, shit in the other. Say which one fills up faster. At first, I worked wherever I could, then found some guys to do some shady stuff with. There aren't many ways to make a living in Los Angeles area. Can't exactly work the cash register, right? David jabs again, but without malice. The antisocial environment made him resentful of the middle and upper classes. But it hasn't affected me yet. Oh, it definitely has affected me, the real person playing your I wonder why. Make a comment. That's it. That's the whole story. What about you? Oh lord, this is my chance to make up something cool, or just tell it like it is. I have a single-player family and an art degree, and no dog. He listens to how I ended up in this dump, about my job search and everything else. I didn't sell drugs in alleys, but it seems like we still find some common ground. Got it. You're not in your element. David truly understands. Neither he nor I wanted to end up here where we are. Neither of us know what to do next. And we both love cheap noodles, but he can't eat them anymore. I win. You must be tired of those draw meat requests, huh? I would try you. Oh, like a French girl? He tries to look nonchalant, but his eyes show he's interested. Go ahead. I love beautiful doodles. He says the word doodles with such a strange tenderness that it sounds more like a compliment than an insult. I pick up a pencil. Draw him as he is. Wow, what a face. I almost forgot what I look like. Bags under my eyes like a junkie. Silence hangs in the air while David examines the drawing. He clearly doesn't know how to react under this unexpected little act of normalcy. Damn, looks cool. The last words are spoken in a barely audible, almost reverent whisper, unlike anything I've heard from him before. They're simple words, said with all the sincerity this guy can muster. I can do something too. David takes the pencil from me and, with a deep concentration, almost sticking out his tongue, scribbles something. A few minutes later, the drawing appears before me. Oh my god, that's so cute! I never would have thought this guy was capable of that. Wow, beautiful. David clears his throat, embarrassed. Nothing special, just a doodle. I was into it a bit when I was a kid, comics, all that stuff. Nothing serious. I take the drawing for myself. Alright, where were we? He looks at me expectantly. A whole lot. We're practically a superhero league. I'm sure it never crossed your mind that in reality bloodsuckers can be way scarier than in snappy movies for girls. Looks like he's watched Twilight. Interesting. Some of us not only drink human blood but also capture people to experiment on them. They turn human bodies into a real nightmare of flesh and bones. Dr. Moreau couldn't even imagine. And there are vampire sorcerers who can rip your soul out of your body and make you work for them for eternity. Literally. Seems like I already have one of those sorcerers. His name is Bob. He's checking in his bills. There he is. I wonder what inner strength it took David not to flinch. And there are those who can make your head explode. Literally, with just a glance. But not all of us are such wicked bastards. We don't even have to kill a person to eat. Just drink a little, instead of gorging yourself like a pig at broth. But some don't care. They just drain all the blood and splash it everywhere. The forensics team is baffled why the person turned into a sprinkler before dying. He seems to enjoy talking about how cool vampires are. And which one of these do you have? I've got a decent list of what I can do. I'm not complaining. Imagine it. You never get tired. You can party all night long. Whoa. You're stronger than 10 thugs combined. Well, except for 10 werewolf thugs. That might take some effort. If you want to shrink down and fly somewhere, you can turn into a tiny bat. Your reflexes become 100 times sharper. You feel everything. You see everything. You can hear a rat piss a block away. And finally, you can make people do anything you want. Absolutely anything. Are you sure the last one is due to vampires and not just because they're scared you'll beat them up? He lets out a sharp, raspy laugh. You're right. Most law-abiding citizens avoid me by 100 miles. It's a working strategy in most cases, but sometimes you need a subtle approach, you know? The word subtle from this guy sounds almost comical. It's one thing to scare someone shitless. They give in just to avoid being harmed. And it's another when they act with full confidence that it's what they want. They don't even realize they're just vampire pawns now. Yeah, I think I get it. He pulled that trick on me too. David smiles, but this time his smile is strained. These are the words of someone stuck in a web of artificial connections and ass-related threads. Fear and supernatural compulsion aren't the best foundations for a strong friendship. Your whole life is based on lies. Even if it's based on my ass, I don't care. If you're a bloodsucker, you'll live like this and no other way. In this snake pit, you won't make true friends. Vampires don't live in one big, beautiful house like in Twilight. They're like cowboys in the Wild West, constantly cutting and shooting each other and blowing up houses. David mentioned Twilight again. Oh my god. Don't think I'm whining. It's actually great. Keeps you on your toes. You'll get used to it once you adjust. Come to think of it, being a cowboy isn't so bad. Exactly. Great way to feel alive. Not so dead. You get it. He seems to enjoy talking about. Can vampires open beer cans with their minds? Oh, they sure can. But they can't drink beer afterward. Shoot. When I was just recently turned about 2 years ago, I tried to eat spaghetti. Not the smartest decision. And what happened? I threw up farther than I could see, puking on blood and meatballs. Left some graffiti and a bit of pasta on the wall. The guy who cleaned it up probably thought a whole spaghetti monster exploded in that alley. Mamma mia, no more pasta, pizza, no delicious food, that's terrible. You got it, exactly. I miss pizza. My buddy used to say you always have to sacrifice something. In our case, it's pizza. Sounds silly, of course, but in reality, it sucks. Still, you get used to it over time. I can see he's lying. David lives in spaghetti-less hell. What kind of monster would do someone to that? You can still order food delivery, by the way. Just this time, eat the delivery guy. He seems to enjoy. Yeah. Back to the question. Why did you watch Twilight? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't watch emo crap. Sure. I hold a dramatic pause. He looks at me concerned, like a concerned animal. He stares at the floor, then the ceiling, anywhere but at me. Finally, he lets out a loud sigh, filled with disappointment and embarrassment. Fine, damn it. Alright, I watched everything. All Twilight movies, watched The Lost Boys, Interview with a Vampire, Blade. The idiot who bit me didn't explain anything beyond the basics, like, don't go out in the sun, you little punk. I thought maybe these stupid movies had a clue, you know? Hidden in all that silly romance and melodrama. Most of it turned out to be bullshit. I read legends, searched for info online, all you can imagine. All supernatural beings try to not to give themselves away, but sometimes you still stumble upon bits and pieces. Or crazies, one or the other. My favorite, by the way, was from Dusk Till Dawn. Too bad vampires don't explode in real life. You still haven't told me if you sparkle. He takes a deep, ragged breath. No, we don't sparkle. Want to know what happens if I step into the sun? I catch fire in the sun, as if someone poured gasoline on me and lit a match. Do you know what that smells like? Like fried chicken. It's a nasty, excruciating final death. Very brutal. Oh my god, shake your head. Terrible. However, let me ask you one more thing. Oh, go ahead, but hopefully it's not about Twilight. Can you find everyone who wronged you in life and get revenge? Yeah, a lot of people think about that first. But it's a bad idea to leave all the trail of bodies of people you were somehow connected to. And your head quickly fills with other things like, well, the fact that you're dead and it's forever. But after you'd been turned, you didn't find everyone who bullied you in school and beat them up? I usually beat them up right at school. Ah, right. You might think I was some kind of bully, constantly pulling pranks, but I was actually quiet in class. Just messing around at the back of the class, like an invisible man. Until some jerk started picking on me. Once I smashed a globe over a guy's head because he mocked my sneakers. As if wearing clothes from Walmart made me worse than them. Good thing we don't have globes here. Also, we're not bullying him, what? I'm ready to tell you my decision. Excellent. Leans a little closer. When suddenly, we hear a wolf howling. I don't even have time to blink before David vanishes. Now he's a little bat hiding behind the counter. Oh my god, he's so cute. as a little pet. Listen up. Don't say anything about me. Sit and behave, or you'll feel incredibly shitty. Trust me, if you rat out me out like that mutt, I'll find a way to get out and twist your head off. The threat in his voice is completely lacking, mostly because his voice is now comes from a very small, though angry, bat. A werewolf. A werewolf is about to come here. Creature steps inside. Good evening, ma'am. A low, rumbling bass. Surprisingly calm and friendly. Can I pet you? Ma'am? I'm not sure I understood you correctly. You want to pet me? He awkwardly shifts from paw to paw. That's very unexpected and of course flattering, ma'am, but don't get me wrong. But I'm kind of on a duty, chasing, tracking the supernatural. He looks around nervously. Alright, you can, but just a little. I still have important business. Oh my god, I reach out and pet him. His fur is warm, soft, and thick. I immediately feel a low vibration. The werewolf is quietly, silently purring. Purring? Oh my goodness. At first, it's a barely noticeable movement, but then his short, fluffy tail starts to wag slowly but confidently from side to side. Oh, he's angry. He's a good boy. A very, very big but good boy. He deserves praise. I'm the Princess Mononoke of this gas station, although Davy doesn't seem thrilled. I pull my hand back. Thank you, ma'am. It's been a while since I've been. Anyway, thank you. So, getting back to the purpose of my visit. Apologies for this sudden intrusion. Edward, you can just call me Eddie. We're chasing down a certain pest. You haven't seen a vampire around here by chance, have you? You know, young, bit scruffy, wearing a leather jacket. You see, here's the story. One of our packs nearly took out a vampire sire and his offspring a few hours ago. It was a tough battle. We suffered losses. We tried to track them, and found one of them, well, more like a pile of ash where he once lay. But it seems like one bloodsucker offed the other when he was weakened. Their family values are quite lacking. It seems fratricide has occurred. David didn't tell me anything about it. Oh, I keep reading stuff in the other's voice. That's not good. Probably that's why he had all of those questions about vampirism. He was trying to get advice on where to go next after killing his creator. But in a completely idiotic way. You see, ma'am, vampires are parasites on the body of our society. They drink blood like mosquitoes, but unlike mosquitoes, they kill their victims by draining them dry. They languish in boredom with their immortality and thus destroy human destinies, play with them, torment them, and derive a semblance of pleasure from their suffering. They are devoid of true feelings. Oh, he's angry. I look at David, devoid of any feelings. He's shaking all over. So I would be extremely grateful for any help. Do not. The bastard threatened me 5 minutes ago, but now he's small, trembling, and helpless. He's my bastard. I force a smile and say I haven't seen anything. Quiet, peaceful night. Eddie examines me closely. He's probably catching a faint scent of blood. My calm demeanor throws him off. Strange. Well, okay. If he shows up, just give me a whistle. We won't far away from here. Good night, ma'am. The werewolf goes off to his important wolf business. David crawls out of his hiding spot. You could have turned me in. He stares into my eyes as if trying to peer into my soul and understand what it's made of. And that would have been the sensible decision. But I'm glad you're not the one of those sensible ones. David says with genuine relief in his voice. He's grateful to me and now doesn't quite know what to do with that gratitude. He clears his throat awkwardly. So, what's the answer to my question? What would you do if you were a vampire? His gaze reminds me of a lost fighting dog. Without a master, he's restless and can't find his place. What an advisor he picked. May the Lord help him. I take everything life has to offer. Travel, entertainment, new experiences. The world is full of wonders. And when you're immortal, all doors are open to you. He chuckles. Oh, still waters run deep and all that. Pity the road of adventure led you to dinky gas station. Maybe you're right. The world isn't limited to this lousy town. He says this quietly, almost to himself, looking out the window at the dark, empty highway. As if he's just remembered there's something beyond this cage of alleyways and gangland showdowns. Here, for future adventures. David is about to turn around and leave when he suddenly stops. He pulls out a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket, scribbles a number on it, and leaves it on the table next to my hand. But just as I reach for it, his hand covers mine, pressing it on the table. His skin feels cold, rough, from barely visible scars and blisters. This grave-like chill sharply contrasts with the warmth of my own hand. I feel a slight tingling, like a static electricity. Call me if you need a ride from work. I've got a couple of ideas for what we could do before dawn. See you. David says goodbye and leaves. The gas station sinks into absolute silence. Well, that was quite an interesting encounter. I really could have turned him in, but I didn't want to. Hang the drawing on the wall. For someone obsessed with ass-related threads, surprisingly, his hands are quite skilled. Now I also have a date invitation from a guy who wanted to make me his dinner half an hour ago. I survived another visitor. It seems I'm starting to get used to this job. Wiping off the sticky residue, hoping it was just spilled soda from the counter, I suddenly hear the crunch of gravel outside. Oops. This is definitely not another vampire. That's a tiefling, if I've ever seen one. The stranger leans against the counter, trying to look casual, but the way his tail twitches betrays his nervous tension. Hi. He clears his throat. Hello, babe. My name's Victor. Aren't your parents pirates by any chance? No, sir. My parents are not pirates. I can almost read it in his eyes. I've practiced this so many times, and I'm still stumbling. He breathes in fits and starts and forces a nervous, trembling smile. Oh, he's cute. It's very surprising that they aren't pirates, because you are a real gem, miss. You illuminate this dirty gas station with your glow. I mean, you clean it very well. This is not a complaint to you. It's just, forget it. You are a gem. Let's leave it at that. Awkwardly smile in response to encourage him. I gave him a light, hesitant smile. It's a bit awkward, a bit forced, but undoubtedly encouraging. Victor awkwardly smiles back, wagging his little tail. Oh my god, okay, he's the cutest. He's incredibly happy that I didn't start an exorcism ritual. Didn't call the security, though. There's probably none anyway. The worst of all. The security of this establishment is my responsibility. Then his smile gradually fades, and he looks away nervously. May I ask a question? His face is burning. Victor takes another deep, frantic breath. His stomach growling so horribly. I hope this guy's okay. Is it really that bad? I mean, is my flirting technique really that terrible? Awkwardness is a great style. I liked it. This might be the best compliment he's ever heard in his life. Probably the only one. Oh, you liked it? His voice makes a surprise, disbelief, and shy glimmer of joy. Oh yeah, he's freaking adorable. Glad you like awkwardness, because I have plenty of it. You probably noticed. Right off the bat, is it really written on my face? Actually, I think I initially chose this tactic to charm you, miss, of course. Everything went according to plan. He's adorable. He coughs shyly and mumbles something to himself. Then he shifts his gaze back to mine. Actually, miss, I'm here to acquire... He doesn't get to finish. We have a visitor. Whoa! She stands next to the counter, clicking her mandibles impatiently.
2 packs of Brapsy, pack of screaming cheese, and a bag of fairy fingers, darling. By the way, your gas attendant is a real sweetheart. It's frightening.
It's frightening to imagine what my invisible colleague looks like. He hasn't even bothered to say hello.
And hurry up, I need to rush. I have a lot of work waiting for me today.
I'm starting to pack the order. At the same time, oh, he's an incubus. Okay, I thought he was just a thing. Awkwardly tries to hit on the lady, and I thought we had something special. Apparently, the failed Casanova decided to try his luck on a new victim. You seem so busy and cool, ma'am. And you must have a very wonderful job. She starts clicking her mandibles energetically, producing a buzzing sound that vaguely resembles laughter.
Wonderful. Oh, yes, wonderful. Wonderful for those who don't like to eat, sleep, or see their children grow. Really, the best job in all 9 worlds. Speaking of children.
Victor barely recovers from her sarcasm when the lady immediately pulls out a wallet of her bag and unfolds it. Over and over again. It seemed endless.
This is Gugu. He has his father's mandibles.
Victor gazes into the abyss, and the abyss gazes back, revealing baby pictures. The seduction attempt has failed. Again. Like any mother, Lady Mantis loved her children and considered it her sacred duty to tell every passing incubus about him.
This is Google. He is in his rebel phase right now, but he birthed his mandibles. Can you imagine? He makes such racket when he eats.
The image of larva in a biker jacket makes me snort. And reminds me of David.
And this is Gigi and Gaga. They're still larvae, but they're so talented.
What talent can larvae have? They just lie there and eat. I do too, though. Wait. Don't think about that. You have very beautiful children, ma'am. All 20 of them. Incredibly cute.
That's just the first bullet.
And the lady, the horror.
Oh, I got a bit carried away. I really am in a hurry. Here's your money, darling.
Victor watches her disappear into the night, then turns to me with a grateful look. Thank you, miss. I couldn't handle 20 more kids. To be honest, I already broke down on the 8th. And I thought looking after a cat was hard. The lady left very little... Oh my god. The lady left very little in tips. Probably all her money went to her children. Also, I am messing up my speech a lot today, but it is because it is 36 degrees Celsius. I am dying. Victor suddenly remembers he came here to buy something. However, my visitors rarely recall that. I need a book. Victor scans my stinking supernatural realm of discount rot and chocolate bars. It's a guide for, well, you know, succubi and incubi. I can't remember what it's called, but I've definitely heard something about it. Could you take a look? It's definitely not for me, but it's for my less experienced friend because I am employee of the month in my lair. Are you now? He didn't specify whether he was the worst or the best employee of the month. Well, you know, life force harvesting for dummies or something like that. I hear him mumbling quietly to himself. Such a shame. They should have just stayed home and rewatched Evangelion for the 10th time. My type of incubus. I'm heading to the storage room. Just a few hours before, I was rushing around here looking for blood for a very hungry monster. For now, all these vials, eyes, and tentacles seem very less ominous. A gigantic dead moth lies on top of one of the boxes, or perhaps it's just a very tired. I'm rummaging through the book section, deep in between baboon metaphysics and limits of patience of your dead servants. I find the desired volume. I come back to the storage room while holding this forbidden, mind-bending treatise titled Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Demons and Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Them. Wow, this is definitely better than those PDF guides from various sites for... never mind who. Clearly not for the whole family. Let's study it? Yeah, it would be very unusual if he just paid me, tipped me, and moved along. I expect too much from this life. But in fact, this will be an entertaining educational lesson. It certainly won't be unnecessary. And the guy looks like those pictures are enough to make him faint. The sooner this is over, the sooner I can send him on his way. We find a cozy spot next to the counter. I pull the grimoire closer. I open the book, and the pages, yellowed and brittle with age, will release a cloud of dust and indecent, horrifying desires. Incubi, the nature of the tempting rogue, hooves of the desire. Tempting rogues. Oh, that's me. Yeah, definitely me. Hooves are just like mine. You have no idea how awful they clop, especially on tiles. When you sneak to the fridge at night, the whole house wakes up with you. Everyone thinks there's a big, clumsy cow living in your apartment. You know, Victor, you look more like a sleep paralysis demon. What? No. It says here, incredible, chilling horror. I don't evoke horror at all. I'm the one who's constantly horrified by all these interactions with others. If I were appointed as a sleep paralysis demon, I'd be the monster in the closet that never comes out, ever. Only if you're not into sleep paralysis monsters, are you? Yeah? Oh. Well, if there's a free closet or space under the bed, just call me, babe. He raises his eyebrows slightly, or maybe he's having a nervous spasm. One thing or the other. Victor turns his attention back to the book and runs his clawed finger down the lines. Incubi, appreciators of the vibrant hues of the soul. They draw power not from blood or life force, but from pure, potent energy of mortal emotions. And although a refined bouquet of positive emotions is their preferred ambrosia, what a fancy word, a practitioner can also sustain themselves with more coarse, fickle energies of negativity, despair, horror, and humiliation to provide a quick, albeit unpleasant, rush of power. It's no wonder that now, after an argument with someone in the comments, I feel like I've eaten a few raisins. Judging by his expression on his face, he clearly isn't cut out for horrors and humiliations. His limit is probably arguing on 4chan. Also a kind of source of horrors and humiliation, but still, it's a bit different. An incubus can, albeit less effectively, form a symbiotic connection by feeding off a single, consenting mortal vessel. The mortal vessel, in turn, can absorb some of the power from the incubus, among the other things, their immortality. Oh, sounds like a decent deal. I certainly always have plenty of emotions, mostly hatred for the fact that to earn money, you have to work. A whole mountain of raisins for Richter, or whatever he called it. What a relief, just one person. The thought of having to chase after a whole bunch of strangers makes me feel sick. Strangers are the scariest thing right after rent. Yeah, I totally understand you. It's probably even harder to deal with the clients like me. Communication is already horror show itself. And then you add a literal horror with vampires and ghosts. Just a nightmare. He really looks at me with sympathy. He feels sorry for me. I don't even know how to react to that. Trying to understand what people want from you is quite a challenge. It's like trying to play a game with its rules changing every 5 seconds. And someone has turned you off your screen, and you're paralyzed, basically. Yeah, I completely get you. Victor flips through the grimoire, reading the chapter titles. Techniques of rogue seduction. Choose the emotional juices. Using Leviscus. What? Leviscus energies for thaumaturgical purposes. I don't even want to know. I just want to not starve without energy, and maybe pay my rent. I don't need to be a lusty cousin of Doctor Strange. His fingers finally jabs at a random chapter title somewhere in the middle. Love letters. It seems completely irrevocably outdated, especially that part about carrier pigeon colors. Love letters? Who writes those anymore? This should apply to text messages now, right? But this is a good start. Let's work on this before moving on to some complex deduction methods. He pulls out a pen from somewhere, a cheap ballpoint with a little anime cat charm on the end. I hand him a grease-stained napkin, like everything in this rotten place. This book says to convey aching adoration and a hint of forbidden desire. Victor starts scribbling something on the napkin. Oh no. Maybe something like this? No, Victor. Try again. Yeah, I guess this isn't really the most aching thing in the world. He takes a less greasy napkin from me and starts trying again. What about this? I love him. Will you marry me? And the funny kitty. Wonderful. That lonely, pain-filled tear in his is like the cherry on top. Check the yes box. Victor's mind is now blue screen to death. this probably means the picture turned out well, right? With a trembling hand, he takes the drawing from himself. If my client gets a heart attack, Bob will probably kill me. Victor continues to flip through the book, recognizing the desires of the vessel. He scans the first lines of text. It's all about observing subtle hints, interpreting body language, and engaging in candid conversations to uncover the special nature of mortal carnal desires. He glances at me. What does Vessel Daya want? The vessel wants money. The vessel wants a simple human sofa and cuddles on it. Yeah. Ah, great. And pizza, right? In his eyes is a genuine sympathy and understanding of every delicate string of my unfortunate, lonely soul. That's honestly quite a simple desire. I think if the criteria for the second person on the couch aren't too strict, I could easily help. Though sometimes I comment too loudly on what's happening on screen. I hope that's not too much of a problem. I do the same thing! Sometimes you just can't help but make a stupid comment 10, 20, in 5 minutes, especially when you know some facts about the movie. We continue to study this villainous seduction manual. The art of verbal seduction and slippery flattery. To his surprise, Victor finds no mention of the fact that pirates compliments work on living people. We examine the first paragraph, where words are labeled as keys to the treasure chest of the heart, and flattery is described as a powerful aphrodisiac for the ego. It's all very dramatic, but the main idea is quite simple. Say nice things, don't say unpleasant things. This is definitely outdated. If I tell someone that his eyes are double gateways to the Champs-Élysées, I'll definitely get sprayed with pepper. And this, good lord, when I kiss you, I tremble like a paralyzed beggar. How's that even supposed to work? No, that's too much even for me. Victor clears his throat. His gaze slides over me, trying to latch onto something particularly attractive about my appearance. You have very elegant ear shape. Thank you, Victor. No problem. I mean, they really are. They have very elegant curve, aesthetically pleasing. 11 out of 10 of the ear attractiveness scale. Ears on my head are an 11 out of 10. Will there be ever a happier day in my life? He takes a deep breath, gathering his courage for another compliment. Actually, you seem to so calm and collected. You remain polite no matter what. Patient. That's an incredibly rare phenomenon. Especially in a place like this. You have to be incredibly strong to stay so cool under such pressure. This person was struck down by an ordinary basic politeness. That says a lot about our society. He smiles gently in response. Despite everything, he starts to relax. He's probably beginning to feel more comfortable around me. I would have never thought a monster would have to struggle with discomfort from interacting with a mortal soul, and not the other way around. Another chapter. How to be a mirror. I didn't know we could change. Oh, it's metaphorical. The text describes the principle of mirroring, subtly borrowing mannerisms, speech patterns, and even expressed opinions of the victim to create a sense of closeness and understanding. The path of least resistance to gaining mortal attachment. Oh no. What about all that stuff is just be yourself and everything will work out? My mom lied to me, didn't she? But similar interests, What do ordinary people like? Football and the weather? Definitely not anime and Dark Souls. Hey, I am an ordinary person who likes all that. Come on. Discussing the brilliant soundtrack of the Silent Hill with people is a bad idea, that's for sure. Alright, practice. The book says that practice is the key to success. Victor lifts his gaze to me. Play along with me, please? We just met. We did just meet. Beautiful mortal soul. I have appeared to you in half dreams so many times, but I finally decided to find you in reality. I won't let you go so easily again. Even though the words aren't the most elegant, there's something supernatural about them. I still begin to feel a pull. A shiver runs down my spine. Give in to the feeling, yippee! He moves closer, his movements suddenly becoming smooth and eerily graceful. The words this creature now speaks bypass my mind and penetrate straight into some primal parts of my brain. I play along, but part of me realizes this isn't entirely a game. I'm a mortal being, and he's a demon from hell who came for my wretched soul. No! He came to feed off your emotions, not the same thing. I know this is dangerous, mortal. That it's wrong. It's forbidden fruit, but doesn't that make it all the sweeter? Oh no, the last remnants of the reason with me protest. Oh yes, everything else replies. I lean into him with my whole body, eager to hear the last forbidden, incredibly sensual... Oh damn it, my leg just cramped. The resonant hum abruptly cuts off. We're back in that little gas station. Sorry, I couldn't hold that seductive pose for more than 10 minutes. But it seemed like we were doing pretty well, right? What even was that thing? He's flipping through the treatise a bit longer before letting out a sigh. His stomach growls again. It seems he could use an emotional snack. I think I've covered all the important stuff. I suppose it's time to wrap things up. He starts to rise from the floor. Wait, how did it happen that no one explained anything to you? Even, like, I had a briefing, a 2-minute one. I'll tell you, bud. Promise you won't laugh? I promise. Relief flushes over his face. Yeah, wonderful. I accidentally sold my soul on the darknet. He holds a dramatic pause. Go on. Fuck, what an idiot I was. I dropped out of college back then because of constant stress, moved into the tiny dump, barely left my apartment. I was scraping by with some freelance work. Sometimes I chatted with various anonymous folks from 4chan, people without names, gender, or age. And then I stumbled upon a stupid ad. What did I have to lose? Definitely not a demon. 7566 in the chat offered me a chance to escape loneliness. Later, I turned into this creature. He told me he did it for laughs. He left no instructions, just wrote "get good" in the chat and deleted all contacts. He was curious to see if I could handle it. His chance to escape loneliness turned into putting me in an incredibly deadly situation. He lifts his eyes on me. He lifts his eyes to me. His memory is a fresh wound for him. Before I can even respond, he jumps up from the floor. But I've already wasted enough of your time. He claps his way to the counter. Well, to be honest, I didn't really understand much. Those chapters are so strange. He lets out a quiet chuckle. But you know what? It was great. I haven't had this much fun in a while. I think I even ate properly, finally. Positive energy. I mean, thanks for that lunch. I'm not sure if I need to pay for that too. But I'll leave some money just in case. He still twitches awkwardly. I haven't really interacted with people since college killed my will to live. I felt strange not to feel like such an idiot around someone. Thank you so much. He tosses some money into the jar, then takes a deep breath and adds, and maybe someday we could, well, hang out together? Not as a lesson, just to play some silly games, like friends. Why not as friends? We could make it a date. A date? He still starts waggling wildly, knocking over 3 bags of chips, a can of soda, and a bottle of gloomy tea. I'm in, of course. I'm ready. He struggles to rein in the flow of enthusiasm and takes a frantic breath. See you then. Goodbye. Bye, Vaya. Good luck with your shift. It was nice to meet you. The gas station returned to silence, broken only by the hum of refrigerators and my own 2 loud thoughts. I loved him. He was my favorite. He was so cute. So, a crazy god, a vampire thug, and a shy incubus walk into a gas station. Sounds like a start of a really bad joke. My life is now a joke. Just great. I just wanted to pay my bills. I didn't sign up for interdimensional quarrels and therapy sessions for the undead. But on the other hand, I wasn't eaten. And I wasn't turned into a piece of furniture. By the standards of this night, That's a resounding success. I cautiously glanced at the door to Bob's office, where there was a low, guttural humming, like a giant, disgruntled computer tower was working inside. The clock on the wall indicated it was the end of my shift. With a heavy sigh of relief, I began closing up the place. Finally, I walked to the front door, inserted the key into the lock, and was about to turn when suddenly... Organism! I jumped in place, nearly dropping everything. Organism, your performance has exceeded all my algorithmic predictions by 47.3%. You are not just an organism, you are an efficient, flawless machine for generating currency. I am feeling an emotion your kind describes as managerial pride. If you keep up your good work, the possibility of receiving a 25-cent bonus will become not just a hypothetical, but quite real. Go, organism, restore your energy, resources, and return for a further exploitation. What a relief. He vanished as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving nothing but ringing silence behind. I stood for a few seconds, processing what I'd heard. Then, I slowly turned the key in the lock. Click. First shift completed. I survived. And now all I can do anything, which means... Call Victor, yes? Victor promises to come faster than the wind. True to his word, when his car pulls into the parking lot, he nearly knocks over the trash bin. My bad. It's an old, well-maintained car. Clearly inherited from his grandfather. Inside, it's warm and smells nice. His apartment is exactly as I imagined. A bit cluttered, but cozy. As soon as I get humiliated by the very first boss. Victor, sitting next to me, laughs. It's not that you're bad at this, as you say, it's just that I'm a nerd with a whole lot of free time. His fingers glide effortlessly over the buttons. I felt at ease, for the first time in a long while. No fear, no tension, just two people playing video games. He freezes for a second, then a blush appears on his violet cheeks. He coughs awkwardly, but doesn't pull away. Instead, he gently leans his head towards mine. You've made me so happy in just one evening, and I'll do everything I can to make you happy. I close my eyes, listening to the quiet clicking of buttons. An incubus partner. My partner is an incubus, and he's better at Souls-like games than I am, for now. Something very interesting is definitely happening with my life. No, it's over! No! This was so fun! I want 7 billion more! Chapters, please? Thank you. I loved this. I want more Victor specifically. I love Victor. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye!